Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Regarding Islamic dietary directives, the misconception that we're going to discuss today is that there are some people who derive from a Quranic verse the conclusion that Quran has in fact praised and spoken highly of alcohol. And so therefore, how can this such a drink be regarded as prohibited, about whom Quran has spoken such highly of? Now, the verse from which they derive this meaning, I'll just read out the verse to you and then the translation, and it will become evident from a simple translation of the verse that the Quran is absolutely not speaking highly of alcohol in any manner. In fact, it is condemning it, and the only thing is that the style adopted is such that it might mislead people into wrongly translating and understanding the verse, if they do not have a good grasp of the Arabic language, that is, of course. So the verse reads as وَمِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ النَّخِيلِ وَالْأَعْنَابِ تَتَّخِذُونَ مِنْهُ سَكَرًا وَرِزْقًا حَسَنًا إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. This is verse 67 of Surah Nahl, and the translation of this verse is, "And the fruits of the dates and grapes, from which you derive intoxicants and wholesome food. Surely in this is a sign for men of understanding." So the words of this verse, if they are kept in consideration, people say that the word sakara, of course, which refers to intoxicants, and rizqan hasana, which means wholesome and good food, this obviously would mean that the Quran is actually stating the fact that people manufacture intoxicants from dates and grapes, and so therefore, in a way, the Quran is speaking highly of alcohol. Of course, this is not the case. Now, if you we just reflect on the internal, the way these words have been arrayed in this verse, we'll find that there is an absolute negation of this fact. This is often the case that in the Quran, opposites are mentioned together, and at times these opposites are mentioned in such a subtle way that at times this subtlety does not allow us to properly derive the fact that in fact the two things mentioned are in fact opposites. However, a little deliberation would show that they are opposites, and certain attributes which are present in one word will reflect that the opposite attribute is present in the other word. So therefore, here, if we reflect on this Quranic verse, we'll find that rizqan hasana is mentioned together with sakara, which would rizqan hasana, of course, means wholesome and good food, which is allowable. Now, since this is mentioned in opposition to sakara, which would mean that the verse is actually saying that man manufactures good food as well as bad from dates and from grapes. So therefore, in other words, what the verse is saying is, it is just mentioning a matter of fact, a case of fact, by which it is saying that the Almighty has given grapes and dates to people, and what they do is they manufacture good food out of it also, referring to the fact which is wholesome, and they manufacture bad things out of it also, referring to the fact that they are intoxicants. So in other words, what the Quran is saying is that it is just portraying the fact that man was given dates and grapes, and what he did was that he sifted out good elements out of it also and used them for his own benefit, and he also manufactured intoxicants from it. So this, of course, in no way is corroborating intoxicants. The Quran is in no way corroborating or even praising intoxicants. What it is actually saying is that these two benefits, which could have been derived, which have been derived in fact by man, are the ones which are before us, and therefore for all men of understanding there is a clear sign in it. So in a nutshell, we can say that this verse is not at all praising wine or alcohol in any manner. The only thing is that since alcohol or intoxicants, they have been placed right after rizqan hasana, which means pure and wholesome food, it automatically reflects that wine or alcohol here is something which is not wholesome, which is unwholesome. So therefore, what the verse is saying is that man is deriving both wholesome as well as unwholesome benefits from dates and grapes, and it is in no way praising or speaking highly of alcohol. This would be an absolutely wrong conclusion from this verse. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.